Twitter is a really powerful social media platform if you know how to take full advantage of it. In this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for using Twitter like a pro. Today I'm in Mexico City and the question comes from Nikki, who asks, Phil, what social media platforms should you look to get your name on? Really good question, Nikki. Chances are, in your top 3, let's say if you had to narrow it down, you probably have Instagram, maybe Facebook, maybe LinkedIn. I am going to make a case today on why Twitter should be one of your priority platforms. On its surface, Twitter seems pretty straightforward, right? You send some text, a combination of photos or videos, sometimes a poll, pretty straightforward. But actually, this social media platform is not as easy as it seems, especially when you're getting started. How many of us are guilty having a Twitter username, but we haven't tweeted in a day, a month, a year? For all of those people, I call them Twitter quitters. And in fact, I have been guilty of this in the past as well. But it doesn't change the fact that Twitter is actually really incredible if you know how to use it. In comparison to the other social media platforms, Twitter is the best at giving you access to a targeted audience for free. I'll explain more on that in just a moment. Let's start with my very first tip. Tip number 1, use Twitter as a tool for conversation, not for broadcast. A lot of people make this mistake, and I'm sure we can all relate to the people who are constantly tweeting about their breakfast. No one really cares. It's easy to fall into the rut of thinking, wow, we need to tell everyone what we're up to every minute of the day. And while maybe this will work on Instagram stories, for example, Twitter is not the place where you're going to have success. Twitter is an amazing tool to start conversations, especially with strangers. Not only strangers, also celebrities and gatekeepers and people that matter. And I know this from 2 sides, helping people like us, everyday people that are trying to get the attention of someone else, but also from the side of being hired by celebrities and high-profile people that have me help them manage all of the messages. I've been in the position where I've decided what gets replied to, what gets favorited, and most importantly, what gets ignored. When you make a genuine effort to engage with someone, even if they're a stranger, if it's thoughtful, there's a good chance someone will reply. And this leads me to point number 2. Switch up the kinds of content that you're tweeting. This takes away some of the mystery associated with what is it you're supposed to tweet. The first tweet type, quick question, or in short form, I call it QQ. This is the type of tweet that's meant for engagement. Something quick, something witty, something funny, all of those work. Just make it quick. It doesn't always have to be on brand. For example, left or right-handed? That question might have absolutely nothing to do with your business, but it's something that we all as humans can totally relate to. Quick questions can be on brand, so something to do with your business, or they can be completely not. Again, at the end of the day, all it's about is getting people to engage. Second tweet type, website link, or short form WL. This tweet type is meant for you. You get to talk about you in any way, shape, or form. This could be a blog post, it could be press that you've gotten recently, it could be one of your new podcast episodes. This is the 1 in 4 tweet types where you get to talk about yourself. I call it website link instead of calling it self-promotion, for example, because anytime that you can attach a link to what you have to share, that means that we're more likely to engage with you for more than just a few seconds, ideally over a minute. If you link us to something on Twitter where we can learn more about what you have to say, we're going to stick with you for longer. All of this has a compounding effect. So when we spend more of our valuable minutes of the day on you, you stay more top of mind within your audience. So far we have 2 tweet types we've covered. QQ, quick question, WL, website link. Let's move on to the next 2. IB, which stands for industry buzz. Industry buzz is 1 in 4 tweet types where you remind us that you're an expert in whatever it is you do. So think for a second about your brand, your business. Are you an interior designer? Are you a lawyer? Are you an accountant? Whatever you are, how can you remind us that you are an authority in your space? One easy way to do this, a fact or a statistic, particularly one that's relevant now. These are all things you can find so easily online with a quick Google search. Or let's say, for example, you're on a flight reading through a magazine and you read something that's relevant to your audience, save it, write it down quick, and make sure you queue it up as one of your tweets. Industry buzz reminds us that you know what's happening in your industry. You are, in fact, a leader in your space. Finally, the last tweet type, which I would argue is the most important one, is NE, which stands for networking effort. Twitter is a tool for conversation, not for broadcast. Twitter works when you switch up the kinds of content that you're sharing every day. Tip number 3, use this tool as a platform to grow. I mentioned at the beginning of this video that Twitter is the best social media platform to access a targeted audience for free. Now I'm going to explain that. In fact, in 2014, I wrote a book called Shut Up and Tweet. Chapter 6 of that book is called Popularity Contest. And in this chapter, I teach you how to grow your audience using the audiences that your competitors and like brands have already grown for you. First, get clarity on who your audience is. And when you know the answer to that, now you can start to use your competitors, your like brands, and your brand heroes as inspiration to grow your own audience. The beautiful thing on Twitter is that all of that information is public. You can see the following and the followers of all your competitors, like brands, and brand heroes. For example, let's say I'm a chef in town. An indirect competitor would be a food truck in town. It's a different service, but it satisfies the same need, hunger. I could look up this food truck on Twitter, go ahead and click on their followers, and there's a list of all the people that have followed that food truck. We can safely make the assumption that those people are interested in what that food truck is doing. Maybe they're hungry. Go ahead and click follow on them, and all of those people are going to get notified that you followed them. For this kind of targeted interaction on other social media platforms, we would pay money for that in the form of an advertisement. Again, I can't guarantee that someone's going to notice you or that someone has their notifications turned on, but there's a very good chance that making the effort will be worthwhile. I explain this a little bit better, word for word, on how to do this step by step in my book, Shut Up and Tweet, which I'll put the link to in the description below. Moving on to tip number 4, use lists. Particularly for people that are just getting started on Twitter, this is kind of a mystery. It's something that's listed that they probably haven't even looked at or know it exists. You see, on Twitter, it kind of is like a popularity contest. What I mean by that is that people make a split judgment right away based on your profile. People are looking at your picture. They're looking at your social bio, how you describe who you are in a few sentences, and they're looking at how valuable you are based on 2 factors: how many people you're following and how many people follow you. If you're not following a lot of people, but you have a lot of followers, generally that means you're someone important or someone established or someone significant. So the unwritten rule on Twitter is that you don't want to follow too many people that are not following you back. If your following is way higher than your followers, that doesn't look good when it comes to someone making a first impression. You kind of look like the unpopular kid at the party. So I bring this up because you can still get tweets from people that don't follow you back by adding them to a list. Every time you click open that list to see what people are saying, you do not need to follow that person in order to get their content. Twitter lists are a great way to monitor, for example, your competition, like brands, or brand heroes. Finally, tip number 5, make your profile enticing for people to follow you. We talked about some of the factors that contribute to someone's first impression of you. That includes your profile photo, your social bio, and all the other information you have available when they see you. Think about how in words you can describe yourself, your brand, in a way that's enticing. Make it clear the value that someone's going to get by following you. A good rule in branding is that when you try to appeal to everyone, you effectively appeal to no one. So make your value proposition very clear. A quick tip on writing your social media bio: first sentence, tell me who you are, why people should care. Second sentence, give me some indication of your personality. And now a question for you. What is your Twitter handle? Go ahead and pop it in the comments below so that other people can follow you. If you're interested in more on Twitter, be sure to check out my book, Shut Up and Tweet. And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more useful information on looking good online. I'm Phil Pallen. I appreciate you hanging out with me for a few minutes today, and I'll see you back next time.